Hey there, Postal here. So today we're looking at a plane that I absolutely love, a goofy looking little plane. This is the F6U Pirate. Let's take a look. Alright, so I was on stream Saturday, and somebody had mentioned, I think it was Death Nail probably, had mentioned National Pirate Day, which wasn't this last weekend and isn't even coming up anytime soon, but it gave me the idea to fly the Pirate, because it's a pirate, and I'm glad I did. I really enjoyed this plane. I've kept it. It's one of those planes that I'm gonna be happy when I'm done grinding all my lines, which I am getting down to the last of, because this is gonna be a plane that I fly pretty consistently, which took me by surprise. I kind of sharpened my teeth, so to speak, on reasonably maneuverable, if not downright pivot fighters, and went from there. So, Yak 19 was awesome. I like the FJ1 because it was more maneuverable than anything on that line, quite maneuverable for a light fighter, in fact. But this plane's nothing like that. It's the least maneuverable of all the fighters in the game at Tier 9. But it used to come off the multi-roll line, so my word of advice is treat it more like multi-roll as far as maneuverability is concerned, and you won't get yourself into trouble. Remember, it used to come off the F2G. You had two options off the F2G, the F94D, which everybody loves, or the F6U, and they both led to the F7U. I would argue this is more of a fit for that line just because the lack of maneuverability. You look at the maneuverability, Tier 9, 12.5 seconds. Pretty bad, man. But what does this plane have going for it? Well, it has four 20mm cannons, and if you look at these cannons, these are the same cannons that you get on the F2H. They're the same cannons that you get on the Tier 9, the Tier 10 planes, the F7U and the XF90. So really these are, yes cat, these are heavy fighter guns on a light fighter. Yeah, they go to the F7U, the multi-roll, but that's Tier 10. So these are very, very strong guns, and anybody that kind of disregards the F6U is really going to be hurting, if not completely dead. Play this plane like a heavy fighter. Like a heavy fighter hybrid multi-roll kind of thing. It's a little bit more maneuverable than most heavies, but you're not going to be dogfighting very often. You're going to be using your airspeed. If you look at any of the other Tier 9s in battle, airspeed on the FJ1, it's pretty high up, but I've boosted that one up. You're talking about 311 and 559 on this particular plane. You've got 354 and 601, so you're certainly higher there. If you're looking at the MiG-9, that might be something comparable to this particular plane. And the cruise speed's a little higher, but the boost speed's a little lower. So nobody says the MiG-9's a slow plane, right? Most people think it's the fastest at Tier 9. And it certainly is right up there, but the Pirate will give him a run for his money, right? TA 183 isn't even really close. MA 1092 isn't even going to be really close. No, not at all, actually. Let's take a look here. Oh, this one's not going to be close either. I guess it's kind of close. Nope, never mind. The cruise speed's really low. I guess the airspeed is reasonably high on this one because of its ability to boost. Let's take a look at the attacker. No. So really, you're looking. I mean, you could argue that the MiG-9 is faster. I suppose I've got it right here. I could compare the two, but if you're comparing something to the MiG-9, then you know it's going to be a pretty fast plane, right? Obviously, this is even less maneuverable. Obviously, the altitude performance is significantly worse. but although the gun numbers are pretty close, I would actually argue that the F6U has better guns than the MiG-9 for a couple reasons. One, you've got all the same guns. These are 420 mils, so they're all the same range. And on top of that, I know this says the optimal distance is 26-25, but that's on the 23 mils, the two 23s. The 137 mil, look at the effective range, is only 2,000. So you're not really hitting them hard until they're at 2,000 feet, where you can keep these at arm's length and have them hit pretty hard before they even get close to you. So, you know, the F6U kind of seems like a plane at a place, but if you kind of compare it to some of the other planes that are out there in other nations, you can see how you want to play this plane. And honestly, you'd kind of want to play it like you would a MiG-9. Even though it doesn't say the altitude performance is the greatest, you can still get up to 8, 9, 10,000 feet pretty okay. You've got really good engine speed, really good ability to get up to speed quickly. So really play this like a rocket with 420 mils on the front of it, and you'll do really well. So that's enough of me jabbering on. Let's go ahead and hop into battle and see what we can do. Okay, tier 9 battle, that's always nice. Sunny Kim, hey, look at that. Very cool. On the enemy team, we've got a Sea Fang and
Pilots, get ready for action.
It is what it is. 1092, which is very similar to this plane in a lot of respects, except better. Metrics-wise. Gameplay-wise, I don't know, we're going to find out today. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this comm center really quick. Get some people coming over here with us, hopefully. Let's put these guns to good use. These guns are what make this plane, because frickin' maneuverability certainly is not it. You do not play this plane like you would a normal fighter. You're really going to play this more like you would a heavy fighter. Be in a very high energy state. Can't stick with nobody. Boosting away. And come on back. Now if you play it like a heavy fighter, you're going to say, wow, this has pretty good maneuverability. And I think maybe that's why I kind of like it so much. Because I don't have to... Hello, sir. You know, if I'm playing it like you're supposed to play a heavy fighter, then you're just kind of using your energy, going with the targets, and if you get them, you get them. If you don't, you keep on going. And that's really what you do with this particular plane as well. You've got 4 20 mil guns that do a bang-up job of killing stuff, especially bombers, heavy fighters. You are a heavy fighter, interceptor, assassin, for sure. Not the fastest plane out there, but you do get to your top speed pretty quickly. Alright, so let's go ahead and see if we can't get thar. Speaking of heavy fighters, to intercept. Gonna kind of pulse the guns a little bit here because I don't want them to overheat, especially once I get on his tail. I want to be able to knock him out before he knocks me out. Cool. And we really haven't lost a whole heck of a lot of hit points either, so we can head over to the center. Ooh, we got a bunch of people coming inbound. See how our team's doing. Good old Sunny doing goody goodies. Got a Sea Fang up much higher than he should be. Let's get this JU knocked out if I can, since he's here. Let our guns cool down on the turnover. I would think a plane with this kind of speed performance and lack of maneuverability would have good altitude performance. But remember, this used to come off a multi-roll line, and so it does play very similar to those multi-rolls. And as such, you kind of think of it like a multi-roll in that regard too. So be aware of the kind of history in the game of this particular plane, and why it's really not a fighter. I'm gonna have to turn away and just keep on boosting through. I don't need rockets in my bum. Rockets in my bum. Rockets in my bum. Not gonna be a top 40 hit anytime soon. So let's see here. Sweet. Less sweet. He's got his boost on, so let's hit our brakes. Hopefully he'll bypass us. Yes. Excellent. So I was looking at his... Nope. Yeah, he can easily outturn me, unfortunately. Nope, and I'm in my zone. I was hoping that I could get some help here, but I'm gonna actually get killed here. Eh. Oh my goodness. It's a wonder what some wiggling can do. There should have been no reason for me to stay alive for that long, but I think me just kind of throwing him for a loop as far as where the hell I was going and when I was going and doing it. Let's see if I can get some hit points back. Let's defend our zone first. Anyway, so as I was saying... come on. This plane compared to an ME-1092... What? I should not... Yowzers! Thank goodness it's a TA, so he's only going to be able to hit me like once every 20 seconds, so... Anyway, like I was saying, it came off a multi-role line. It really plays kind of like a hybrid multi-role heavy fighter. It's got heavy fighter guns, and it's got multi-role maneuverability. It kind of has the speed. It's got good speed, but it's not the world's best speed. But for whatever reason, I just love this plane. You know, I don't know if it's because nobody else loves it, and I'm one of those kind of people that loves the things that don't get loved. But honestly, I think it's actually a good plane. I don't think it's just me being a goofball. But who knows? Alright, so we've got some heavy fighters up here. We should stop fooling around with the multi-rolls. We are a heavy fighter assassin. Let's assassinate.
Receiving reports about rapidly deteriorating weather conditions.
Actually have the same exact guns as that F2H. I'm sure he doesn't like them being used on him. Let's see if we can get him before he starts coming directly at us. Nice. Alright, and they're all kind of like bunched over there. I am not going over to the to their spawn point. I'm not in the mood to die. But what we can probably do is get this ground pounder, I suppose. Play some defense like a good light fighter would.
Victory is in sight. Keep it up.
And these guns are actually pretty good against ground pounders as well. So I am putting my air brakes on right now, so that way I don't go flying by them at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And once I knew I was on target there, I laid down the trigger. You saw I was tap until I was 100% sure. I was 100% sure, and so then I started making him regret his life decisions. I think this guy gave up on his life. That's, no, not ground pounder. We want to go and get heavies. We like heavies. We like heavies. And obviously I'm going to get the one in the back, because if I get the one in the front, I'm going to be getting in front of this one, and I don't want to make a heavy sandwich made out of postal lunky meat. Let's head on down here. It looks like that F2H is going to be toast anyway. There's a ground pounder down here though. Game's almost over. We'll see if we can help it help. I got 12 aerial targets. Nothing too crazy, but see if we can get lucky 13 before we flip. Nice.
The enemy has captured the command center. Don't let them gain a foothold.
Don't put FF in the chat. Alright, so that's game, really. Come on, right? Like, jeez. Looked like it was at 800 for like 50 minutes there. So we were able to snag him a Campbell, Guardian, and a great game. I mean, not the world's best game, but this was the first game I've played in this plane in a hot minute. And it's like riding a bike. I absolutely love it. Play it like a heavy fighter, and you will not be disappointed. Let's head back. Alright, so we were able to get that lucky 13th frag there. 7 were destroying while defending, and you are in a light fighter, so your forte really is to be destroying while defending, right? Not a whole lot of capture points, mainly because I was destroying. We were at full, full capture points or full sector points almost everywhere we went. So, it is what it is. It's top on team. Got a lot of good help from Sunny, so appreciate him for sure. Not a whole lot of resistance from the enemy team, but hey, sometimes you got to make the best of those particular teams, right? Was able to get a McCampbell there, was able to get one of each plane type. You didn't even die there, so probably would have been able to get about 16,000 personal points or 17,000 if I didn't have to dogfight with that ME92 in the beginning. So speaking of, let's take a quick look and compare this plane to an ME1092. So this one I do have built for a little bit more speed. But I haven't specialized it yet. I've been able to specialize it for a while. I haven't done it. I'm not one to... I'm still grinding a lot, so I tend to use all my silver on the next level, so to speak, rather than on specializing. I will certainly look forward to specializing once I've got just silver to blow on that kind of thing. But the 1092 is similar design, right? You got the 420s, which are... seen as stronger on the 1092, but I really feel they're kind of the same on each of these two planes. The biggest differences you're going to see on these two planes is the F6U. It used to come from a multi-roll line, and so it's got that kind of multi-roll altitude performance, multi-roll maneuverability. The 1092 is not a maneuverable airplane by any means, but still quite a bit more maneuverable than an F6U. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that you can't play with it, right? I've got more airspeed, so to speak. As you can see here, my boost speed, my overall speed, and you've got multi-roll boost duration too, so keep that in mind. I was able to use my airspeed. I actually used that my lack of airspeed in that situation to have him kind of have issues with me. And I'm not sure that would have worked versus like an uber skilled player, but I tell you what, if your ace in the hole is your airspeed and you're all at a boost and you can't get away, you better figure out something else to do, right? So in that kind of situation, I saw he was catching up to me anyway. I might as well use that momentum against him, and have him continue past me and really throw him off. And it allowed me to live for long enough to have Sunny Kim come and save my butt. But you see what these guns can do, and what this platform is really just a flippin' rocket ship with guns on it. It's not meant to be the most maneuverable thing in the world. It's meant to get to a target and knock them out. So use this plane for what it's intended for, taking out heavy fighters, taking out bombers. Yeah, you can go after multi-rolls, but remember they're going to have basically the same maneuverability as you, and heck, a lot of them are going to have better maneuverability than you. I don't necessarily go after light fighters unless they're on low health, or unless I know I can take them out. They're headed away from me or whatever. I'm not dogfighting them, kind of situation. So I've really enjoyed this plane. That's why I've kept it. It was a complete surprise, as if you've seen any of my previous F6U videos. Very much a surprise, but a pleasant one for sure, and I'm glad I've got it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this particular video. If you do, feel free to give a like. If you didn't, thumb me down. Do you happen to have the F6U? Now that they've moved it to the standard American light fighter line, I'm not sure if that means more people are going to try to get it or less people. I would think more people would try to get it. It is a nice segue to the heavy fighters. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a great day.